All right, so we're done playing and now it's time to take down our kit. So where do we start? Well, let's put our sticks away. Take the sticks, find your stick bag, place them inside. Zip it up and get it out of the way. Next up, I like to take the cymbals off. So we'll start with the ride cymbal. Unscrew the top lug nut, wing nut. Take the felt off, take the ride cymbal off, set it aside. Replace the felt, replace the wing nut. Go over to the crash cymbal, do the same. Felt off, cymbal off. Make sure that this thing doesn't come off with the cymbal. Replace those two. Take the cymbal, put it back. Hi-hat, you can take both cymbals off at the same time. Lift up, take the bottom cymbal, put it somewhere so you can take the clutch off. So underneath this, it looks like this when it's upright, underneath, screw the bottom off. If you pull the cymbal up, the felt will come off with the cymbal, like that. Put the cymbal aside. Replace the felt, replace the bottom of the clutch. Set the clutch aside. And put the hi-hats with the others. All right. Next up, snare drum. So we can turn the snares off at this time. The strainer. Take the snare off, and again, you don't want to set it down on the strainer. So put it on its side, somewhere safe. Let's put it there. Next, let's take the toms off. So we'll start with the high tom. We'll unscrew this wing nut. Slide it off of its mounting post. Tighten this so it doesn't rattle. Set it aside. Next up, we'll do that with the next tom. Loosen the nut. Slide it off, tighten, set it aside. Next up, floor tom. Again, we'll loosen this, pull it off of its post, tighten, and set it aside. Why don't we start with this next? Because we're going to work on our hardware. So we'll take it, the wing nut underneath holding this post on, unscrew it, take it out, retighten the nut so it doesn't rattle, set this aside. Let's do our snare drum next, snare drum stand. So we'll take this, collapse the top in on itself, like that, loosen the bottom, collapse the bottom in on itself, and tighten. Set it aside. Let's do our cymbal stand. So with cymbal stands, we're going to go from the top down. So we're going to take this, loosen it, bend it down. And you want to leave enough space here so that it can go over any of these outcroppings. So tighten this down with a little space. Come on. There it goes. Loosen the next lowest thing, bring it down. Next lowest thing, bring it down. Now pick it up, loosen the base, slide the legs in, tighten, set it aside. Let's go to this cymbal stand. This one's a bit more complicated. So we'll start with the top again. Bring this down. Again, leaving space here. Go to the next lowest thing, loosen it. And this one actually goes this way and up and down. So we'll put this one straight and bring it down. Tighten it. Go to the next lowest thing. Bring it down, tighten it. And we have this mechanism here holding the tom arm on, which is actually going to prevent the base from going all the way in with the legs, but we'll still bring it up as high as we can. If we really wanted to, we could even raise this up a little higher so we can bring it all in. Tighten it, bring that in, close the legs, tighten, set it aside. Move on to our hi-hat stand. Now, sometimes with hi-hat stands, the post is rather stuck in the lower part that's holding it in. So one thing we can do is grab our clutch, put it over the post, tighten it and turn it to the left. That'll get it started in terms of loosening it. So take it off once it's loosened. Keep loosening your post until you can feel it come loose. Pull it out, set it aside, loosen the middle section, take it out, set it aside. With the base, collapse the legs. So we'll loosen this, fold the legs in, like that, and tighten. And then with this bendable metal piece, I'm going to squeeze it together, take it out of the holes, set it in, set it aside. And then we're going to get onto our bass drum. So I'll move it so you can see. What we're going to do is, we're going to loosen this wing nut right here that's holding this onto the bass rim hoop. So we'll loosen that. When it's loose, we'll pull it off carefully. Set this aside. And then we'll bring our bass drum up like this. Loosen the legs. Bring them down. Loosen the other leg. Bring it down. Tighten. And the last thing we're going to do is on the kick pedal. Since this one has a detachable spring mechanism, I'm going to take the spring off of its holder, put this down, and we're done breaking down our kit.